Next in this series, I'm going to figure out how to read a Kdenlive archive so that it can be untarred and rendered by Kdenlive and then packaged back up. Stay tuned. What's up? My name is Kenny. Thanks for checking out the Almost Engineered channel. This is the series where I build a Java application to turn a Kdenlive video archive project into a final rendered video file and upload it to YouTube. So in this one, I'm going to actually cover how to read a Kdenlive archive file. If you're just now joining the series, be sure to go back and watch the previous set of videos, as it will demonstrate how we have got to this point. Alright, so I have my properties file defined, and in my properties file I am going to use two directories. So I have a pending directory and a archive directory. And so the plan is to use the pending directory as the files that need to be rendered by Kdenlive, and then the archive directory is the location that the files are moved to once they have been rendered. And also need to add I guess we call it a output directory, and this will be the location where the files that are rendered are placed. We call it rendered. All right, so we now have that. All right, so then go back to our application. Actually can minimize that, make it bigger. All right, here we go. So I want to make a function, because when you do a function, the intent is to be able to call this more than once, and basically it will read the entire directory contents, and then once it reads the entire directory contents, then it will loop through this process as many times as needed. So I think the first thing, let's see. So I want to, we'll do void for now, and we're going to get pending archive. All right, and so that's going to be that function. Copy. Pending. All right, so I have copied some files from my archive. Here. Go. Yeah, there. Almost. Archive. Select. Skip. Okay. Documents. Here we go. So I've copied some existing video projects that I've already had to the pending directory. So I've copied some existing projects that I've already had to my pending directory, so that I have something to be able to test with. So what I want to do now is to get a list of the files that are in this directory. So let's see, I'm gonna look up a little something, get directory contents, Java. All right, so gonna look at this. So we got a directory, and then want to get a list. I don't know. All right, that's one way of doing it. Don't want to use the Apache Commons. Let's see if there's a, here we go. All right, so here's a more native way it appears. All right, so new file, and then f.list. Okay, so this is seems like an easier way of doing things. All right, so we'll take this example from Stack Overflow and leverage it in. So since we have our properties, I can actually do, all right, file equals new file, and then new file system, oh, property, where's the properties, so return properties back down here, so add property, so I need to pass in properties to this function, so properties, okay, that'll work. All right, so properties dot get property, and we want to get the property of the pending directory. All right, and then after that, I want to do file, and we're actually declaring a file list and using the f.list files as what to do. So do file again, and then I'm gonna call it file list equals file.list files. All right, and then I want to be able to return these list of files back. So I'm actually going to set this to static file, and then we're going to return file list. All right, and it does not like that. So return method. All right, so we're going to change the return method. There we go. All right. So now we have it get pending files. I'm going to name it get pending files. That way it's more appropriate to what the actual action is being done. And so what it will do, it will get the files in the pending directory, list all of them, and put those into a file list, and then return the file list back to the application. And if we want, can actually loop through this file list. So, all right, so for each one is what I'm gonna do. All right, so we'll call this one pending files. Nope, don't do that. I know you have IntelliSense, but let's not use that right now. All right, get pending files, and then I'm going to do app property in there, and so that'll be passed in so it can be leveraged in this call right here. All right, and so then I also need to declare this type, so I'm going to let Eclipse be intelligent and declare that type. All right, so then for int I equals 0, do I is less than pending files dot length, and do I plus plus. All right, and so for now, actually we're going to do log message. We're going to do pending files dot get, oh, whoops, wrong method. All right, I dot, oh no, it's not doing as expected. So this is trying to loop through this list. Let's see if we can figure out how to loop through a list. Java loop through, iterates through list. I know how to spell through. There we go. So there should be a for loop. All right, so for as list. Get, oh, here we go. Get absolute path. Okay. So I want to be able to list everything in that particular directory. So, and for the time being, I'm gonna comment this out, but it will be in the final output, and it does not like this being commented, so I'll comment that as well. All right, so what are we doing? So we're running in the application. we are loading the properties file, which is testing.properties, which is a part of my project. And then we go get the files in the pending directory. So we'll call our function called get pending files, and we'll pass in the properties. And so in the properties, we want to use the property of get pending directory. Now I could actually pass in just the get pending directory, which would probably be more appropriate for this. So I'm actually going to change this to a string, and pending directory is what I'm going to call it. And then I'm actually take this properties out and put in pending directory, and then I'm going to change this call to app property.get property and then pending directory. So that way I'm not having to pass all of the properties to this function, even though I'm only using one of them. All right, so the get pending files function would be called, and it takes an argument of the pending directory. Then we set that pending directory up as a file. Then we list all of the files in the pending directory and put those into a file list. And then we return the file list back to our main, which comes back to here. And then go through the for loop for each of the pending files that are in the pending files list. We're going to print those out to the console, and I'm actually going to remove this as well. And so, because this actually does not go here, it goes up here for the time being. All right, and then that will be it for the application. So now that we've done that, we can run the application and see what happens. All right, and as you see, we ran relatively quick, but we have our 3 files, and we can confirm that the 3 files that are here are the same as what it found. So the next step would be to unpackage the tar file. So call it static. I'm gonna do void to start off with until I get to the end, and then we'll go back. All right, so do void and do unpackage compressed tar, because essentially that's what it is. And I want a string of the file path to tar. And I know it's kind of long for a variable name, but essentially that is what it is. All right, and so let's see if Java has uncompressed GZ. Let's see if there's a, so there looks like there is a library that may be able to do this. All right, so GZ, what is it? Util zip GZ input string. Okay, cool. So we can use this library here. So I'm going to create, let's see, GZ is it input string. Well, that one says file. I wonder if this is an older version of Java or not. Okay, so it's doing, okay, so here's the input string. All right, so what I want to do is gzip input string, gzip input string is new gzip input string in, and then I'm going to do file new file input string, and then the file name will be the file path to tar. All right, that is a mouthful on this one, and it's complaining about, more than likely about an exception. So we want to throw our exception. We'll do a general exception. That way, if we have any future exceptions, they'll be handled accordingly. All those go back up to the main and are handled in the main. All right, so the next step, according to this example, is to have a file output string. And so we're looking for the length. And so we're going to read the gzip file, and as long as it's greater than 0, we're going to write that out, and then we're going to close it, and then we're going to close the gzip file, and then close our output stream, and then that's just a comment to say that the process is done. All right, so using this example, all right, so next we need a file output stream, and that's to write what we're reading in back out. So file, gotta spell it right, output stream, file output stream equals new file output stream. And let's see, so he has a constant defined in here called output file. This may not work because I actually need to be able to package each individual file. So let's see if there's another example, because there's more than one file in this particular archive. All right, so this one gives a, oh, come on, go away with ads. All right, so this one gives a input stream, a file in. All right, okay, so compressed file, pass that compressed file in, then you give it an input stream, and then you create a file output stream of a decompressed output file, and then you're writing that one file. So, but what if I have multiple files? I wonder if this will handle that or not. Okay, so this one has a file path. Buffer file read, output, close. Okay, I'm not sure about this one. All right, so the alternative of this is to use the Linux commands that are built in, and I think that may be better suited for this particular scenario for the time being. If I find a better way to do this in Java, I will just make an update to this function and commit it into the code. By the way, the link to the repository with this code is in the video description below. All right, so to run the Linux command that I know will work, I'm going to create a new process builder. All right, and so I'm going to do /bin/tar. I think that is the path of that. Let's confirm by doing which and then tar, and so bin/tar is the location, so bin tar. All right, actually we need to do gunzip first, so let's see which gunzip, so /bin to gunzip. Okay, so /bin gunzip, and then we're also going to provide the file path to tar as that process builder string. All right, process builder inherit IO. I'm also going to process builder redirects the error stream to redirect dot inherit, and then same thing for output stream dot inherit. All right, that's that, and then we'll start a process and call it process equals process builder dot start. All right, so that will run the process, and then I want to process dot wait for, and want to do wait for. It should not take any longer than 60 seconds. So I'm gonna put 60 in there, and then give a time unit of seconds to complete that task. If it does take longer than 60 seconds to untar, this will automatically throw an exception, so you don't have to worry about if something goes wrong with the process or the process hangs. So that's that. All right, so then once we do that particular part, I want to do another process builder. You're gonna call this, we'll actually rename these. So I'm gonna call this one PB unzip gunzip. All right, so I'm gonna rename this to what the actual process is, since we're having multiple processes run in this particular function. All All right, and then so this one will be process builder pb untar, and so new process builder and do bin/tar, and then we're also going to give it the extract in the file, and then we need to figure out the path to the compressed file. So we actually need to strip off the .gz extension once that is done. So I am going to do string. Actually, so this needs to be path to gz, and then this one will need to be file path to tar. And what I'm going to do is set that equal to file path to gz dot split. All right, and want to split off the .gz extension. All right, and so everything before this should be included in the file path to tar, and so I put the file path to tar as the final part of that, and then going to do pb untar dot inherit io, pb untar dot redirect error. Oop, gotta spell it right. pb untar dot redirect output, and we want to redirect destination. What are you doing? There you go. Inherit. All right. And then process. Whoops, wrong process. Process. Process untar equals pb untar dot start, and then process untar dot wait for, and I'm also set this one to 60 seconds, time unit dot seconds. All right, so that should uncompress and untar each of the files, and it does not like this for some reason. String path splits. I want it to, maybe that's not what I'm looking for. Hold on. So split, maybe that index of, so if I get the index, then I can do substring. Yes, okay, so here we go. All right, so I need to do substring and find the beginning and the ending index. So it's gonna start at 0, and then the index will be file path to gz dot index of, and going to do .gz as the file extension to find. So actually this probably should be last index of, if I spell it correctly, last index of .gz. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll do a walkthrough of it before we run it. So the process builder will take in the file path, and we'll also want to do some logging here. So I'm going to do log message, which is my built-in function. So gz file, and I'm going to do file path to gz. All right, and then also going to do a message here, starting gunzip for, and then include the file name. All right, and then log message. Actually, that log message needs to go after this one, so log message tar file is file path to tar. All right, and then log message starting gunzip for. let's see, gunzip for file path to tar. All right, so, and then at the end, do a, log message, done. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna make one adjustment here because I don't want it to run through all 3 of the files. So I'm only going to put one file for it to render through. So I'm actually going to manually change this for testing sake to less than 1. And that will just only uncompress the tar, the archive file that it first finds. All right, so next we have to do so unpackage, and then we'll do the this here, and so because it's looking for a string. All right, and so this should be it. All right, so I'm going to create a process to run the Linux command of gunzip with the file name, and that output will be redirected to our console. And then once that is set up, then the process will actually kick off, and it will wait for up to 60 seconds. If it takes longer than 60 seconds to complete this particular process, then it will throw an exception, which will be handled up in our main. It's just a generic exception handler at this time. And then after the gunzip process has completed, then we'll look at the tar file, and we're actually stripping the gunzip file path, and we're taking the extension off of it to get the tar file name. And so we're taking that tar file name and extracting the tarball and redirecting all that output to the console, and then start the process, wait for up to 60 seconds, and then we are done. So we don't have any errors, so let's give this a go. All right, and so it is done. And if we go to our directory, let's see. Oh, so the thing is we have to give it a destination for the tar, and I failed to do that. So I gave it the file path. All right, so I gave it the file path here, but I did not give it where to put that. So I wonder where it put it. Who knows? All right, so I'm going to tell it to place that in the output directory. All right, so that's the GZ file. And then we're going to do another argument for the output directory. And the output directory will be passed in as a system property. So app property.get property. Yeah, get property. We want that one. And then we'll do, what do you call it? It's called output directory. Okay, so there you go. All right. So let's see if this one actually does things correctly this time. I also need to create this directory because it does not exist. All right, so I have my pending directory, and I have my redirected or rendered directory that is defined in my properties file. All right, so now you should be able to run it. All right, so file not found in archive. That is a problem. All right, so let's go back to rendered. And this is the correct path, home documents rendered. Okay, so I'm thinking I may have the command incorrect. All right, so I'm going to go to pending. All right, so tar civicrm, so xf civicrm permissions.tar. We want to do almost engineer. Come on. So maybe that's the problem. It's redirecting somewhere else. All right, so man tar. All right, destination. Didn't give you option to specify the destination. That kind of sucks. And all right, let's go to the internet. All right, tar extract. All right, destination. All right, so let's see. All right, so I need to pass a -c as the destination. So let's see what the man document says about that. A capital C, not lowercase c. Okay, so there's a lowercase c, but I do not see a capital C. Interesting how they came up with that particular information. So do /c. There we go. Change to the directory. Okay, this operation is order sensitive. Okay. All right, so now that we figured that part out, so we can go in and do -c there. All right, so now it should extract to the appropriate directory. Unknown suffix for gzip. Oh, so it did okay, so I know what happened. All right, so go back to ls. All right, gzip and then star.tar. All right, so need to convert all these back to compressed files. All right, ls. All right, so now we have them as gzip files as they originally were. All right, so now we can run this again. All right, and it says it extracted it to the appropriate location. All right, so go back to render. All right, and there we have our project extracted. So we have our Kdenlive file, as well as the 3 directories of images, sounds, and video clips. So we have completed this particular portion of extracting this file out. Hopefully this video has given you some insight into Java and how to work with Linux commands. If it has, please drop a comment in the comment section below about any questions you may have on this particular topic. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button below, and also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at almostengr. If you have not already, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter at almostengr, and also check out my website at thealmostengineer.com.